The name of the show is The Way to Go. My name is Alan Bendich. I'm going to be your host. Tonight's guest is Max Bendich, my dad. Welcome, Max. Okay. I mean, Dad, whatever. There's a couple of things that I wanted to start off the show with, because we've talked a lot about the past, and there were two ways I was going to go, and I think we'll save one of them to the end. So I think we're going to start off the show when I got this telephone call on the subway from my brother saying that Mom passed away, and could you tell Zadie or Daddy, because Mimi wasn't available, and because she was in Long Island or with Michael or whatever it was, and David had just been with you, and it was just so I just remember coming into Cathay House, which is where you currently reside, and you were having dinner, and I didn't make it I couldn't get to your table without just totally breaking down, and I told you that Mom died, and what are your recollections of that day and beyond?
About a short time before, maybe a half hour before, David and I were with her.
David's your other son.
David is my other son and my first son, and we had a good time. And always she was saying, Max, I want a glass of water. And David would tell her, look, Mom, you're not supposed to have it. And then eventually David left me, right? Because everything was going good. And that was
wasn't she supposed to be going to a rehab unit? She was about to leave the hospital. That's what was happening, because she had broken her hip.
Yes, had broken her hip.
And at this point, she was about to leave to go to rehab.
So wait, what happened? No, they found out she was bloated.
I know, she was bloated.
Whatever it was, right? And they found out also that she had a blood clot, and the blood clot was dissolved. That's what David said. That was dissolved.
And they put a little net in also.
No, I don't know.
They did something else.
But Alan,
yes.
While she was having that blood clot, another formed.
I know.
And they didn't know it, and we didn't know it.
I know.
And we left, and almost it seemed like only a half hour later you came in and you told me that Mom died. All right. Like I tell everybody, we knew one thing, and it's a positive thing to say. The both of us will not die at the same time.
Right.
This is not a sad thing. I'm telling you, all right, we cried and we did everything. And we were lucky, a big family like this, and only one person has died. The normal person, either Mom or me, and Mom died. Now, and this is, I'm sure, this is how I figured it, all right? I cried that you three people, Miriam, my daughter, Alan, my son, and David, what's going to happen to Pop?
That's it. That's what we were...
Unbelievable. I knew that.
It was devastating.
The way I'm talking, I knew that was happening. And I knew how I was feeling. And I came out with a statement, and I said this. And I believe it, and I always will. I said to you, children, Mom died. We all died. We all died. And a second later, a new life was born.
I remember you said that to me when I was driving you to Mimi's house. What happened was, when I came to you, Mimi had told me, pack a bag, take Daddy, bring him over to my house. On the way there, that's what you said. This is right maybe an hour after you heard that Mommy passed away.
Alan, that's the only thing. It was a new life without Mom, and we still had to be living it.
And we had to be a family.
And we had to be you know about me, and I say optimistic.
Right.
We were still together, and I said to them, and don't worry about me. I realized one thing. You were right. I think I was 93 or 94. I don't remember.
94. She's passed away 4 years
ago. I'm 94 years old.
Right.
It's time for someone to take care of me.
Right.
I'm staying here.
That's it.
I'm not going to. And I'm sure it was a relief on the three of you. There was there was no more thinking about what was going to happen to me.
It was a terrible
Alan,
time.
It was a good thing to say.
Right.
And I lived that slowly and
And I know, and you went back to Kate House,
that's,
and but you know, if you remember, you know, Mom passed away in April,
right.
and you know, there was like a moment there where you got sick during. I mean, do you remember? I mean, you got sick the day of her funeral, which was like, I said,
yes.
oh God,
All right. You know,
and that was like devastating.
When I fainted,
I know.
when
So,
I
oh,
fainted,
shit.
Alan,
I'm sorry.
when I fainted,
Yeah.
the looks, I can imagine the looks saying, but
Right.
you revived me.
Right.
That's when I told you
Yes.
that I understand what happened, that
Right.
this is how it is, and this is how it's going to be.
Yeah.
And Alan, as far as I know, from that moment on until this moment now that we're talking,
Yes,
this is how it was.
it was.
Alan, this is how it was. We were kept together.
Absolutely.
We were. It was wonderful, and we even show you a new branch to our tree.
Right.
We have another. I have another great granddaughter, and
And one on the way.
uh,
No, I don't know. No more. No, this is, no, I got
Alan,
that wrong.
life.
That
I
is the
have
one that was on the way.
Life is good. And I'm telling you, life is good.
Right.
You must be an optimist, and whatever happens, it's going to happen. Don't think about anything else. Alan,
Right.
stay well. You know, that's all
Right.
I.
So, Dad, so what do you do now? I mean, now that I mean, obviously you're back at Kate House, what's your life like now?
All right.
I mean, you're a single guy,
I know it.
right? There's
No,
tons of women there, right?
Right. But what do? I'm married 68 and a half years.
Right.
Besides Mom, I never spoke to a woman. I never went with a woman. I never talked with a woman. Oh, except in our senior center, and that was a beautiful place, I would play cards with the women. But I never spoke to a woman.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Alan, about a year later or something, I'm playing cards, and I went with this woman, and then something else. She wasn't a good player. I was going to teach her, and boom, I'm going with her. And Alan, I even asked everybody, what was I supposed to do? Do I hold her hand? Do I talk to her? What do I say? Do I walk her? Alan, I was frightened.
I remember.
I was frightened to death. It never, but little by little,
Right.
we came together and everything. Right, for a while, I think I went with her for at least for a year.
Right.
But all right, the year forever stopped.
Right.
So, and look, and between that, during that year, I made other friends and everything else. I was becoming a tumbler, as I say, and I joked around, and it broke off with this lady.
Right.
Now, for a while, half a year, I wasn't doing nothing, and now I went out with another lady.
I know.
Where was this lady? See where you're sitting and I'm sitting? She's sitting over there on that table, and I'm sitting at this table for a long time. Why didn't I ever talk to her before, or what? I don't know. But on a dance floor, I asked her to dance, and I went with her also.
Yes.
But again, for about a year,
Right.
and it didn't last. All right? And it's sad. Alan, those two, isn't it?
But I remember both times when you broke up with your lady friends, you said, I don't think I'm going to do it again. But then, you know, then all of a sudden you say, well, there's a couple of other ladies. Yeah.
No.
I'm dancing with this one.
No,
you know.
but Alan, they
Yeah.
asked me a question. I'm supposed to be a happy. I'm a happy man.
Right.
And I answered them truthfully. Not so happy. Again, it was sad to break up,
Right.
and little by little, I'm forgetting it. And nature has a way to forget it
Right.
and to make a new life. And even now,
Right.
but
I think your natural space is to be an optimist. I mean, in other words, we all go through things in
Phases.
life. And like a lot of times, some people's natural spot is like being a little bit negative. Your natural spot, when your equilibrium is always positive.
That's right.
So you always wind up coming back to here, and then you say, that lady's cute, or whatever, or like, I think I'll dance with her. And
not only cute,
yeah.
I even told that to somebody.
Yeah.
I said, "You are a beautiful lady."
There it
Wait,
is.
and I said, "Wait, don't get so swell-headed. Every lady in the world, for me, in the world, is a beautiful lady." I even asked a question. Maybe I'll ask you the same kind of question. Do I say I like you, or do I say I love you? What is the difference? I even asked myself, Max, what is the difference between like and love? I like you, meaning the minute you say I like you, there's nothing better than that.
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
But it's the top.
That's it.
Or I love you, there's nothing better than that. That's the top.
Right.
So why can't I like you or I love you be the same thing?
And for whatever reason, whenever you say that to ladies, they happen to like you and love you back. So I wish I had your charm, Dad. I really do.
No, that's my attitude, Alan. That's my attitude.
And women react to that. I mean, even people in my office who met you, everyone loves you. You know, it's like, you know, I wish I was more like you. You know,
Alan, to me, it's again, when people come in. Now we have to talk about what's happening now. Yeah. People come in, new people. If they're on a chair, in a wheelchair, very few people speak to them. I should have been, even one of the ladies says, you should become the welcoming committee. I go over to them and I talk and I kid around, and one of the men actually went over to the manager and said, you know, I'm here 3 weeks. Not a soul said anything to me, yet he's been my friend. He's been talking to me. And you know what I asked her? How about doing something like this? You're the manager. You get people to, then I really it can't happen. Mm. Let's have, what kind of weekend? I forgot. I had the good word.
But what are you trying to say?
What I'm trying to say.
A get together.
A get together. Yeah. This way, nobody has their regular seats. Oh. 2 people here, 2 men, 2 women.
I'll just put people together. Right.
She says we've been trying that in our mind. We've been trying that.
But you could do that, Pop.
No, I don't want to be Alan.
Yeah. And
that's not only in my place.
Right.
I think this. Cathay House is a good place.
Right.
But in my opinion, every place like that is like Cathay House. They have people who are in chairs. They have people who have AIDS. They have people who can't hear. They have people like this. Right. And very few people actually walk around by themselves. And
so, Dan, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm sorry to interrupt, but why are you so different? I mean, like, I come to visit, and you have all this energy. And you know you're open to everyone. I mean,
why? I'm not kidding. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know, but it's there.
Right. It's a very attractive feature, but but it's also, you could see the contrast of everyone else that's around there. I mean, you go there, and not everyone's like you, Dad. I mean, that's just
believe
the way
me.
it is.
Look, I know. I actually know that, and it shouldn't be. What am I doing? Nothing. I'm doing to me what is natural. And yet, like people,
right.
we're at an age where we can't say what's going to happen, and don't think about tomorrow.
Right.
There's no reason we can't think about yesterday and think about today.
But when you think about yesterday, think only the positive things of yesterday, or what? I mean, what's your philosophy?
Oh, wait, something else. Alan, you know what I said. Second chance, or positive. Whatever you do, bad or good, it has to be good. What's good for me, bad or good?
Right.
What do I say bad? I was sitting in a car, kids came over to me and shot me.
Right.
All right? And the doctors came in and said, where's this guy who was shot in the left side? He's supposed to be dead. And they watched me. A week later, I'm looking out the window, and I said to myself, and this is my philosophy, Mac, it's Sunday, you're going home. What a beautiful day. If you were dead, this day will still be there. Right. And Alan, because...
I know, that was a life-changing... That's a story you've been telling since 1969.
Alan, the day will still be there, and you won't be.
That's it.
Nothing's finished and everything else. And I took it for granted. Right. To me, it's even a sad thing to do. Why? Because, hey, you're knocking yourself out all your life, and boom, it's finished.
Right.
No, I know.
But you know what? I mean, I see your optimism in my children. So, I mean, I see that influence. I know. And it's just, and in all your grandchildren.
And all the children.
And all the children.
I know.
And it's a really good thing. Now, but, when Mom died, it was true that she was the only person in our family who passed away, but
Oh, yes. Now you're going to talk about Elaine.
Yeah, I promised Deb
All
that,
right. No.
because she's our cousin, to
Elaine?
get your thoughts about
All right.
Elaine.
Elaine was Joe's daughter.
Right. And first of all, let me just say that Elaine recently passed away due to complications from pancreatic cancer.
Elaine was Joe's daughter, my niece, and she lived in Arizona. And when Mom and I first started to drive west.
Why were you going to drive west again?
No.
To visit me, right?
No.
Well, we talked about it, but you could say it. You could refresh everyone's memory.
Even though we didn't have a new car, we were going to give you a car.
Right.
We were going to.
I was living in Hollywood at the time.
And that's right. And it was in Hollywood.
Right.
And but until we reached you, I got to say, what a good time we had.
I know.
We once went to, in the Army, I was in a place called Camp Crowder, Missouri.
Right.
So we went on Route 80
Right.
to the middle of the United States,
Right.
went south, and finally we went into Camp Crowder, Missouri. It's many years. Another thing is 2 barracks, broken down barracks, are there. Oh yeah,
we got to talk about Elaine. Yeah, but I was just saying that on the way to visit me, you
to visit you, right?
Yeah, but you talk about Mom.
Right. To visit you, and
what were you going to say about Mom? And Mom, you were talking about Camp Crowder. Is that about going on a car? And,
no.
What?
Why? How lucky I was.
Yes.
Here she had a good job.
Yes.
Working in New York. We were in Camp Crowder. She sends me a letter or call. I'm coming to visit you. I'm going to live with you, and I'm.
This is during World War II.
During World War II,
right.
I'm talking, and she went to Neosho, Missouri, rented half a house, and I'm lucky. And on Camp Crowder, it says that if your spouse is living off the post, you can live off the post. So I was, for 9 months, I was living some time of my daily life with Mom.
Okay.
Look, again, Alan, we're lucky.
But we're talking about something about Elaine now. I want to just get
all
that.
Right, and now about Elaine.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about one thing. I didn't go to see Elaine in the beginning. I came to see Joe.
Right.
Joe is the father.
Yeah, and your brother.
Her father.
And your brother.
And my brother.
Right.
And we were and we were with him, and
in Arizona, right?
In Arizona, and instead of going right to Las Vegas where we wanted to go and get to see you, his daughter Elaine was living in this Spotswood or whatever.
Scottsdale? No,
Scotts, maybe whatever it was.
Another city.
And we went to see her. And what did we find out? We found them, and were living good, everything else with the children, and she was working in the Social Security, and the Social Security. So she was a manager of the Social Security there, and that's in that neighborhood. And we were with her, and they took us to the house.
She had so much energy. I mean, she was spunky. That was one thing about Elaine. She was like...
She was her sister, Adrian, no.
Right. Very serious.
Serious. Not only serious, eventually she became a PhD.
Absolutely.
And an authority on vitamins.
Absolutely.
But
many books written.
But she was a quiet. She was a quiet one. But Elaine, a language that reminded me of my brother.
Not Joe, but Aaron. Right?
Aaron, my brother Aaron. And again, a great man and everything, but he had a mouth. One of his instructors said that it would make a drunken sailor feel.
Blush, right.
No, but she had a rough time, but normal.
Right.
A normal speech. And she must have had some hard time with the people who must have come in to visit. She's a manager of that of Social Security, and many times, if I remember going to the Social Security to get a number or to do this, and you have to wait here.
You're dealing with the public. It's like,
So, and she went through it.
That's it.
But
I don't think she wasn't the type of person I think that complained. That was one thing about Elaine. She
even though she knew she was dying,
I know, she came to visit.
she didn't keep to herself. She kept on going.
Right.
She did this, she did that, and eventually.
And she had what you have too, and people were attracted to her. She had this. She had.
Alan, I forget. I didn't think of that.
People were attracted to
Alan.
her. I mean, men were attracted to her. Relatives were attracted to her. People. She had that essence, that Bendich thing. You know.
Alan, you're right. Alan, that's what I liked her. I liked her anyway.
And she loved you. And, you know,
Alan,
that's
things again. See, you remind me. I'm glad we're talking to her.
That's it. I mean, we never talk to each other, so we might as well talk on TV. You know, it's as good a place as any, right, Pop? So
again, things are good to bring out this to show you something else. Maybe there's something to it. You live a good life. It was a good life for me.
Yes.
And because of me, all right, and Dorothy, and Mom, because both of us, it has to be both. When I say me, I mean I include, all right, say my Mom, it includes me.
Right.
And we did what we think was right. Again, as I told you, peace was our most important thing. Oh, and we'd show you something else, that we were lucky about two things. It was, I think, the Vietnam War.
Right.
Alan.
David.
Alan.
David. It's okay. I do that all the time.
David and Sam
Right.
were in the draft.
That's right.
And we were against war.
Right.
I'm still against war. If I live to be another 120, as I say, I'll be against war and against anything like that way.
Right.
And here we have the Vietnam War. And we found out that...
They had high numbers.
Let me tell you before something else. Aaron's son.
Arnold. Stevie?
Stevie.
Oh, working at the veteran VA hospital.
Not only working, he sent out, and he's a PhD.
Right. Sending
out cards. If you don't want to go to war, come to see me.
Okay.
Alan, come to.
Just remember, this is on television. No. I don't want to get Stevie in trouble.
No, it's Alan. And
I know.
He was explain to them how to do it legally. Everything was
absolutely.
So what did we do?
Right.
Before the draft and everything, we went up to McGill University.
I remember.
We went to McGill University, and Canada was taking in those people who didn't want to go to war.
Right.
And we first we talked to them, and they said, "Don't worry, you send your check, and it'll here be welcome."
Right.
And we went and rented a half a house, paid rent and everything else. Came the draft, they got the highest numbers, both of them.
How wonderful was that, Daddy?
So we got to go back and tell the dean. We thanked him. We were, Alan, you don't know how much, we almost went on our knees to say how.
But Daddy, one thing I would say about your life is you talk about two things all the time, not just optimism, but you also say one of the key things that's part of your philosophy is luck. And you are a lucky guy. I mean...
Oh, now comes luck. Alan, I don't think I would be here if it wasn't for luck. Let me show you at least two important things.
You got to do it quickly, though.
Three important things.
Okay.
And it's going to be fast, right? It's true. I was held up. I was shot. I didn't die.
Right.
Why? Maybe it was lucky. I was sitting this way or I was sitting this way. I didn't die.
Right.
That was the first thing. The second thing was the Battle of the Bulge.
Right.
The Battle of the Bulge. I was working in. I was working in Paris for 9 months.
Right.
And the Germans came in and they scared the life out of us.
Right.
And everybody in Europe and every town, they took half of their staff and put them in infantry.
Right.
And what was an infantry? Who was in the infantry? They put a stack on your back, you climb up a hill, and you're in the infantry.
Right.
We come in to fight the Battle of the Bulge.
Right.
We come to the river. Eisenhower, who was in charge of the army, told the general, "Don't cross that river."
Right.
And how do we know this? In the Times, there was an article who said, we won the war, and we lost it.
We got that.
And Alan and people who still remember it.
Right.
And what was it about? The Battle of the Bulge.
Right.
And you see, even an army,
right.
the general of an army surrendered his army. Why? He was standing there and says, what could I do? I have 40 bullets for every man.
Right.
They have no shoes, no this, they have no that. What else could I do? So he surrendered.
Right.
And what do you see? All right, you see them walking.
Right.
And he surrendered the army. And he surrendered. That was my second.
Right.
My third, again, maybe it'll come to me. But I'm excited. Why? Because I'm lucky. Lucky, Alan.
Well, also, how about when Mom saved your life? I mean, that was that could be one of your third, when you had your heart attack and Mom was able.
Now comes the heart attack. I'm walking in the street. I just came back from the. We lived on Mickle Avenue.
Right.
The post office is 2 blocks away.
Right.
So I go into the post office.
Right.
I'm coming back a half a block, a block and a half, or 2 half a blocks.
Right.
I'm stopped. I hear a noise. My God, loud. Wow! What could? I never thought of my heart. My stomach, it tore. I kept on walking. No pain. There was no pain.
Right.
Kept on, and I kept on. The loudness and noise. So I said, it must be my heart. Maybe. So we come to the house, and the house, just imagine, everything that I was doing, I'm not supposed to do. I'm supposed to lie down.
Right. You walked upstairs.
I walked up the stairs.
Right.
I sat down. I said, Dorothy, call the ambulance. I think I'm having a heart attack.
Right.
She called the ambulance, and I say jokingly, before she hung up, look how lucky, the ambulance was there.
Right, it was close.
Now, I was sitting in a chair talking to Mom, and they come up. He's sitting in a chair. Now, this isn't telling for everybody. The first, get him on the floor. That means that if you get a heart attack, they want you to lie down.
Right.
And then they mentioned, they took my punt. He says, you're having a heart attack.
And that was a while back. That was what, 1998?
I don't know.
I think it was 1998. But all I do know is that Mommy was there, and she's the one who actually called. And in her later life, because of her arthritis and everything else, she wasn't able to use the phone. So talk about luck. If you were going to have a heart attack, that was like the perfect time to have it.
That was, again, no, I didn't do any objections.
Right.
I had it. I'm
so
alive.
what's your advice to other people, Pop? I mean...
No, that's what I took. A good thing. Only 2 things. And you can't help saying it. Be an optimist.
Right.
If you are an optimist,
Right.
be without negative, you are going to feel good. Whether it's again, luck is either good bad luck or bad luck. If you come out with bad luck, you're okay. If you come out with good luck, you're okay. And so far, the bad luck I told you, those are 3 terrific bad lucks. I'm still here.
Right.
And again, what am I doing now? I wake up, again, it's good to know at this moment. I wake up in the morning, I do exercise. My feet, my lower body, my top body, at least more than a half hour every day. Then I take a shower or whatever I have to do and do this and do that. And
well, one thing I do know, I mean, you're always shaved, you're always groomed.
Right,
a lot of people, I guess, at Kate House don't do that. I mean, you still have a good self-image, right, Dad?
That's why you're number 1. Oh, that's what many people say. No, I'm not number 1, I'm number 2.
Well, Dad, I'll tell you one thing, okay? You are number 1 to me, and you're number 1 to everyone in your family.
And I hope
you continue to be number 1 for a long time.
And I hope I'm number 1 to the people in Kate House.
You are. And Dad, you know, it's that time again, you know. It was really great having you on the show.
I love you, Al.
Yes.
And I love you, all of you, you know.
Right. And, you know, that's a wrap. Good night, everybody.